I'm freshly 28. I have no job, no savings, no partner. I live at home with my parents again. There are 5 cats that reside here, 2 of them being mine. Life isn't going the way that I thought it was going to. It's been stressful. I have no money to do things anymore, which is whatever. It is what it is. But I did just bake oatmeal craisin white chocolate cookies, and they're really good. And I think them coming out so pretty, yeah, they're a little bit brown, but I like them that way, is a sign that everything's going to be okay and that I can do hard things. And I'm resilient. That's really all I have to say.
All right, fam, let's be real for a second. We're looking at a situation that's become all too common in today's independent woman era. You've got a grown adult, no job, no savings, no partner, still living with her parents, yet somehow she believes baking cookies is proof she can handle life's challenges. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. Now, that right there perfectly sums up the mindset crisis we're seeing in modern culture. See, somewhere along the line, comfort tasks started being treated like accomplishments. A generation was taught that self-care, vibes, and hobbies are the same thing as self-sufficiency. But here's the hard truth. You can't manifest stability through a batch of chocolate chips. When did survival become optional? When did responsibility get replaced with "at least I tried"? Adulting isn't just about effort, it's about results. Bills, rent, discipline, consistency, those are the real metrics of independence. Because let's be honest, there's a big difference between feeling productive and being functional. And this is where many modern women get trapped. They were told that independence meant freedom from men, from structure, from traditional expectations. But now we've got record numbers of women moving back home, struggling financially, or quietly realizing that doing it all alone doesn't feel empowering when the rent's due next week. What's crazy is how society still applauds this delusion. You'll see people online cheering her on, saying, "She's trying, she's doing her best." But trying doesn't pay bills. Cookies don't cover rent. And independence without accountability isn't empowerment, it's denial. So, when we talk about the wall, it's not just about age or looks. It's about reality catching up, the moment when comfort meets consequence. And that's where a lot of modern adults, men and women, are stuck right now. So, let's keep it real, fam. If you're not building stability, you're just decorating the illusion of it.
One of your single friends feel loved, make a plan. Make a surprise plan. Don't tell her about it and text her and say, "Hey, I really want to see you." Set a time and date and make the whole entire plan and go pick her up. Because here's the thing, as a single woman, you literally have to do everything yourself all of the time. And that includes driving. I would love to be a passenger princess more in my life than I get to be. But because I'm currently not dating anyone and I'm pretty independent, I'm always the one driving all the time. Do you know what I would give to not have to worry about like all the logistics things of a plan? The reservations, the where, the who, the what, the parking. Like, I would love for someone to take care of that for me. Your single friend carries her entire mental load all the time, the entire time. And I understand that you probably carry a big mental load too, but you have someone who you can process life.
Come on now, let's be serious for a second. You can't shout, "I'm independent," and in the same breath say, "I'm tired of doing everything by myself." Which one is it? You can't demand the perks of partnership while rejecting the responsibilities that come with it. That's not empowerment. That's emotional outsourcing. See, this is where modern independence gets exposed for what it often is: selective accountability. It's independence when it's convenient and dependency when life gets hard. But real independence doesn't clock out when you get tired. It's 24/7. If you're claiming that boss energy, that means handling your bills, your meals, your emotions, and your life consistently. You can't call yourself a queen but expect someone else to carry the throne up the stairs. That's not equality. That's entitlement disguised as empowerment. And here's the double standard that always shows up. When men treat women exactly how they say they want to be treated, like equals, suddenly it's a problem. You tell a guy you want to go out, but he asks you to split the bill. Oh, he's cheap. You say you're independent. But when he lets you plan the date, it becomes he's not romantic. So which one is it, queen? Equality isn't about picking and choosing the easy parts. It's about taking the whole package. The planning, the paying, the effort, the grind, the same adulting that men are expected to handle silently every single day. So maybe instead of expecting someone to step in and carry the load, start showing that you can share the load. That's what true partnership looks like, not a fantasy of freedom where someone else still funds your peace.
Girls are so different because a guy will not date a girl, like will not be in a relationship even if the girl's perfect because he's not ready to be in a relationship. And if a girl likes a guy, she will flip her entire world upside down to be with a guy. And a lot of the time I feel like guys don't end up with their dream girl because when they're ready to get married and they're ready to settle down, like they're gonna pick the girl that's in front of their face. And it's just such a different way of thinking than us. And it's unfortunate, but there's also a silver lining to it, I feel like, because if a guy like rejects you or if you're feeling upset about like, I don't know, not ending up with a guy you wanted to, it doesn't necessarily mean that you suck and that he hated you, but it probably means he just wasn't ready for a relationship. So I guess there's good and bad, but I do tend to remind my boyfriend, like, do you like me for real? Or like, did you just want a girlfriend? You know, like, why don't you think about that a little bit, like before you decide to marry me? Because like, I just want to know the truth. Like, do you actually love me for me? But obviously I'm just kidding. Like, I know he loves me, but it is just interesting to know that guys and girls differ in that way. And I would flip my world upside down to be with the guy that I like. And guys just wouldn't do the same. They're gonna be like, I'm sorry, I'm not ready to date. I'm not ready for a relationship. Like, you're great, but like, I'm just not ready.
Erroneous, completely erroneous on both counts. Here we go again. Another example of the modern dating mindset eating itself alive. She's testing a man she already knows, loves her, just to make sure he still wants her. Let that sink in. The loyalty's there, the effort's there, but somehow that's not enough unless he keeps proving it like he's applying for a job every week. See, this is where we're at right now. Constant loyalty exams that nobody signed up for. It's no longer about love. It's about validation. A man can do everything right and a woman will still test him just to make sure he's not too comfortable. That's not romance. That's emotional quality control gone wrong. But here's the kicker. When she talks about how men only pick the first woman who shows interest, she conveniently removes all accountability from the female side. According to that logic, if a man doesn't end up with his dream girl, it's because he wasn't ready. Not because maybe that dream girl never gave him a chance. Not because she was too busy chasing the same 10% of guys every other woman wanted. Nope, it's his fault. Every time. This is the illusion social media created, the idea that women are perpetual victims of bad male choices, not participants in a broken dating cycle. Let's be real. If you only chase the most desired men, don't act shocked when those men don't commit. That's not misogyny. That's math. Back in the day, women didn't have to run psychological experiments to find out if a man cared. They observed consistency, effort, and character. Your great-grandmother didn't need loyalty tests. She had loyalty. She didn't need a yacht trip or a flyout to prove her value. She built something lasting with a man who respected her, not one who entertained her for the weekend. And yet, here we are, more educated, more connected, and somehow less fulfilled. The irony, the women from generations ago, with fewer choices and less technology, somehow found more peace than the ones who claim to have it all today. So maybe the problem isn't that modern men aren't ready for love. Maybe it's that too many modern women can't recognize love unless it looks like attention.
Is it just me or is anybody else like freaking out currently? Like, I'm 27 years old and I'm a firm believer of trusting in God's timing. But it's like, Lord, I want to have kids soon. I want to be married. But it's like stuff doesn't happen overnight. And then I get to thinking in times of timelines, which they say don't go by timelines. But it's like before I have kids, I have to get to know this person. And I want to be married before I have kids. So it's like you have to truly get to know this person. And then you get married and then you have kids. So it's like my goal was to have kids and be married by 30. But the way this timeline's looking, unless God sends me my soulmate this year, baby, I'm going to probably be about 35, maybe pushing 40 before I have kids and get married. And it's like, in this generation, dating is very ghetto. Nobody really dates with intention anymore. And when you are very intentional, it makes it even more difficult to date because we live in such a shallow world. And granted, there are some great, amazing people out here. And I just ask that the Lord brings them right to me because Titi is tired.
How about no? Let's stop pretending we don't understand why so many men are saying I'm good on marriage. It's not confusion. It's not immaturity. It's self-preservation. See? Men are looking at the modern landscape and realizing the deal just doesn't make sense anymore. They're told to give up their freedom, their focus, and their finances. For what? For a promise that statistically falls apart half the time. For a system that, when it does collapse, almost always favors the woman. Let's be real. The top-tier guys, the ones most women are chasing, don't even need to settle down. They already have options. They've got attention on tap. Why would they give that up to enter a contract where every risk is stacked against them? And for the average man, it's even worse. He's told to man up, provide, protect, and pour out. But if things go left, he loses the home he paid for, the kids he raised, and half of what he earned. That's not partnership. That's a gamble, and the house always wins. And don't get it twisted, it's not that men don't want love or family. They do, but they're not signing up for a system that punishes them for trying. When marriage used to mean duty, faith, and shared purpose, it worked. But now, too often, it's performance-based affection and legally enforced risk. You can't ask men to commit fully when the rewards have disappeared and the consequences have doubled. And when women respond to that with, "Oh, he's just afraid of commitment," it shows a complete lack of empathy for what men actually face. Because in today's reality, a man can lose everything for simply trusting the wrong person. He can be labeled, accused, or removed from his own household. And it takes years to recover, if he ever does. So yeah, Colleen, it's not a mystery. It's logic. Men aren't anti-marriage. They're anti-losing everything for nothing. And until the system stops treating good men like disposable utilities, this hesitation isn't cowardice. It's caution.
Older man wants to settle down with you. Assume he is looking to secure his caregiver. Yeah, that's why you see men 45 plus looking for love. And, they realize, I just can't keep being terrible to women. I just have to, at some point, have to start being decent to women if I want to have someone wipe that's not a certified nurse, right? So when an older man is preying on you, just know he sees his future, and his future that he sees, that he imagined, involves you bathing him and changing his diaper. And grinding up his food because, all those lies he told out of his mouth rotted all his teeth, and they had to take them out, and it's giving all gums, and so on and so forth. So be careful. Make sure you are getting compensated for your work. Would you go apply to work at an older person's home for free? You wouldn't, right? You wouldn't. So make sure he pays up. Cash. We need it right now, today. Call it what you want, but nobody's wiping us for free.
Here we go again, another self-proclaimed queen trying to rewrite the dating rules once the game doesn't play in her favor. She says older men only want younger women because they need a free nurse when they get old. But let's unpack that logic for a second. You wanted a provider when he was strong, generous, and paying the bills. But when it's time to return that care, suddenly it's, "I'm not your nurse." So when he's giving, it's love. When you're asked to give back, it's exploitation. That's not empowerment. That's selective loyalty. Let's be honest. If a man has taken care of you for years, covered the lifestyle, protected you, and made sure you never had to worry, that's not a free ride. That's a partnership, one that deserves reciprocity when the tables turn. But to many modern women, forget that part. They think time stands still, that they'll stay in their 20s forever while the man ages. Here's reality. If you walk away from that man after he's invested years into you, you don't get to re-enter the dating market like nothing changed. Because by then, the same kind of man you used to attract, he's now looking for someone who reminds him of you 10 years ago. And that's the part they never tell you in those soft life pep talks. Just scroll through TikTok, you'll see it. Women in their 40s talking about how dating has become impossible because the men they want now have options that they used to have. It's not unfair, it's the cycle of attraction. The same way women look for financial stability, men look for vitality. That's not cruelty, that's balance. And here's the sad twist. The very man she left, the older guy she said she didn't want to take care of, is probably still well off, respected, and surrounded by people who value loyalty. She's out here chasing a new start while he's rewriting his will. So before calling men selfish for choosing younger women, maybe ask, were you willing to stay when the value exchange wasn't in your favor anymore? Because if you treat relationships like transactions, don't be, is probably still well off, respected, and surrounded by people who value loyalty. She's out here chasing a new start while he's rewriting his will. So before calling men selfish for choosing younger women, maybe ask, were you willing to stay when the value exchange wasn't in your favor anymore? Because if you treat relationships like transactions, don't be surprised when someone else offers a better deal. At the end of the day, the truth is simple. Youth fades, attraction shifts, but loyalty ages well. And if you can't offer that, you'll find yourself aging out of the market you helped create.